All right, welcome to Get On Code, the Fly Guy Show, which is a series of melanated conversations focused on empowerment, health, wealth, and knowledge of self.
People think in binary choices because they are conditioned to.
And on the wall was a picture of a wolf and a lion. I think the wolf was the Democratic Party, the lion was the Republicans.
But the drug trade and all these illegal stuff that people do, that's still economics. It's just that they couldn't do it in the traditional system.
We're talking about melanated wealth.
So we can build wealth, but we just, for some reason, don't seem to be able to transfer it.
You had a great experience. Fine. That means nothing.
What were you told as a child about education? You had to be how many times better?
Every impression without an expression becomes depression.
With that said, I want to get started and just put some respect on my brother's name. Peace and love, brother. How are you?
Peace. Peace to the master students. Peace to the code keepers. It's your good boy, your good brother, Mr. Empowerment, Seiko Varner, back at it again. Back on the Crumb TV platform. I've been in the background for a little bit, haven't been around that you thought. Hey man, White Lives Matter, Kanye, Candace, let's get into it. Peace to the family.
Peace and love, brother. Minister, how are you, brother?
Maintaining, man. Maintaining. You know, Nas said it best in New York State of Mind. Life's a parallel to hell, but I must maintain.
Okay. That's how you feel? That's powerful. Absolutely. I totally agree. I wanted to get into it, and I had an article if we wanted to read it. If not, we can go whichever direction that you were more interested in going, Seiko. I acquiesce.
Well, the great thing is, I think no matter where we go, we're going to get there. So let's start with the article and bring a little foundation to this conversation.
I totally agree. Okay, so this was from the New York Times, and it's titled, "There is no excuse for Ye's White Lives Matter shirt." And it reads, let me just make this bigger. "Yeezy is dead. Long live Yeezy." YZY. Stage 3 of the ambition of Ye, the artist formerly known as Kanye West, to dress the world has begun. Presumably, that was supposed to be the takeaway from the surprise show of Paris Fashion Week, held off schedule in an empty office tower just down the road from the Arc de Triomphe.
Arc de Triomphe, right.
Triomphe. Yeah.
Triomphe, thank you. Though it turned out to be only nominally a fashion show and more like the Yeezy experience, a chaotic mess of self-justification, confessional, bone-picking, and messianic ambition, with a White Lives Matter shot of shock and provocation.
Yeah, this is crazy.
That overshadowed the clothes on the runway. The rumors began during the weekend, just a day or so before the Balenciaga Mud Show. Ye was in Paris and was going to stage a fashion show a little more than 2 weeks after ending his much ballyhooed partnership with Gap. Maybe it would happen Monday. Maybe not. Ye had just fired his PR agency. No, wait. It is happening. He found a new agency. Then Sunday night, a digital invite arrived. From the next evening, guests were asked not to share the address. So Monday at 5:45 p.m. on Avenue Something was heaving and screaming fans and photographers. So much for secrecy. They outnumbered the show's actual attendees, but what seemed like 100 to 1. So people came out mob deep outside, even though it was supposed to be a private event.
Wow.
Still, Anna Wintour came. I don't know who that is.
I don't either.
John Galliano?
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Demna, the Balenciaga designer, and Cedric Charbit, the chief executive. also came. I guess that's an incomplete sentence. I don't know. Alexandre Arnault, the chief marketing officer for Tiffany and Company, and the son of LVMH chieftain Bernard Arnault. Then they all sat playing with the soap on a rope that looked like granite blocks and had been left on every seat, waiting an hour and a half for the show to begin.
Incredibly.
Yeah.
That's some Lauryn Hill stuff there.
Oh, you're funny for that one. It was a good reflection as anything this week of just how the culture and power structure of fashion and entertainment has changed in the past decade. Because it was 11 years ago in early October 2011 that Ye had held his first fashion show in Paris. The line at the time was called Kanye West, heavy on the luxury frills, leather, fur, and gold hardware. It was widely dismissed by audiences. But this time, there they were, the powers that be of the industry, jumping at the last minute to see what Ye had to deliver, which involved a live choir. Ye had to do it like that, featuring a host of children from Ye's new Donda Academy in California, as well as, I'm sorry. Can you hear that?
I can't. Well, I don't. What do you hear? Is it reading it for you?
Yeah, it was reading. I'm just going to refresh the screen. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
It was an accident when I pressed that. But it was his daughter, North, Control F, North, as well as his daughter, North, and began with his rambling speech about critics who complained about his show beginning late. His former manager, Scott Braun, his hospitalization, parentheses, Ye had been diagnosed with bipolar disorder. I don't believe that, but whatever. The pain of being called that he was diagnosed with being bipolar. I don't think he's bipolar at all.
Okay. Well, okay. Let's tap into that a little later on. Okay. I'm going to put a pin in that. Put that in the parking lot.
Okay. Yeah, it's parking lot that. The pain of being called crazy. Critics who complained about that his clothes might not be well made. The people at Gap who didn't get his vision. Bernard Arnault, whom he called his new Drake, and the news that he was establishing yet another version of his own fashion house, and it started now. Because, quote, we changed the look of fashion over the last 10 years. We are the streets. We are the culture, end quote. And when it comes to the late culture, he says, I am Ye, and everyone knows I am a leader. Except this leader was wearing an oversized shirt with a photo of Pope John Paul II and the words something in Latin, meaning, I'm going to keep it 5 million. Y'all playing.
I like the way you said, well played, good brother. Well played. Well played. I was like, let me hear him. He said Balenciago. I couldn't read Balenciago, but he said it. So I know he got this one. I can't wait to hear how this sounds.
But it basically means we will follow your example. That was on the front of the shirt. It says we will follow your example, because y'all only saw the back. Right here, you can only see the back of his shirt. On the front, in Latin, it says, we will follow your example. And on the back, it says, White Lives Matter. A phrase. Now, I don't know if anybody knows what the ADL is, the Anti-Defamation League. That's to protect Jewish people.
Right, that's the Jewish police.
The Jewish police.
Yo, they on code for themselves, man. The ADL, they on code. They do for themselves. And they don't try to involve and embrace everybody as they do for self.
Factory.
Yeah. Factory. Okay, I say that.
Which White Lives Matter, which was on the back. a phrase that the ADL has called hate speech and attributed to white supremacists, including the KKK, who began using it in 2015 in response to the Black Lives Matter movement. I don't support that movement either, but I digress. The shirt was impossible to miss because, as he spoke, Ye's image was projected behind him on a wall 4 stories high. Talk about ego.
That's dope. You gotta admit, that's dope.
Yeah, I gotta be. Yeah, I kind of would have loved to see that, to be honest. Besides, Candace Owens, the conservative commentator, was in the audience and wearing one too. Later, the shirt appeared as part of a collection modeled by some girl. Modeled by Salah Marley, the daughter of Lauryn Hill and granddaughter of Bob Marley. She was wearing one too. Never forget, Bob Marley's daddy is white.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Bob Marley had children by a white girl too. Bob Marley's kids are more white than black. White lives matter, Jamaica.
That's interesting that you say that, because I returned from a trip to Jamaica. I was in Montego Bay about 2 weeks ago, and there's some interesting things happening in JA, man. It's it's a predominantly melanated area, but they don't run nothing. They don't run anything. Even the politicians, the politicians, the black politicians there, they don't run anything. And it's intriguing and it's disturbing at the very same time. Yeah. So continue, good brother. Yeah. I'm not surprised about Salah Marley wearing that. I'm not surprised. Not saying anything negative or positive about, the Queen. I'm just not surprised.
Well, if y'all want to take shots at Kanye for wearing that shirt, you better take shots at Salah Marley too. If you want to say something negative about Kanye, put her on a chopping block beside him, along with Candace. Don't just put, Kanye and Candace, fine. But Salah too, okay?
Oh, to keep that same energy argument. Okay.
Right.
Let's keep the same energy argument. Okay, go ahead.
Right.
Matthew M. Williams, the Givenchy designer who worked with Mr. West earlier in his career, Michelle Lammy, Rick Owens' wife, Naomi Campbell also walked in the show. It was the only message garment in the line, which was called SZN9 in reference to Yeezy's show and had come before, created in conjunction with Shane Oliver, the former designer of Hood by Air. I've never heard of that, but I guess it's big. I don't know. Yee is nothing if not a great spotter and cultivator of talent, which made it stand out even more in the show, otherwise focused on garments that could simply be pulled onto the body with no hardware, meaning buttons or snaps or whatever. No hardware involved. An idea that Ye first began talking about in the context of his work with Gap. The thing I saw this meme. It said, "I'm doing with her what I was trying to do with you." Yeezy doing on his own what he was trying to do with Gap. It's going to be pants with no zippers, no buttons, shirts with no hardware. Anyway,
also like baby clothes, right?
You know what?
Kanye's making baby clothes, man. No shoestrings,
no
zippers, no buttons, Okay.
I want to just take a moment right then and of course, just to be respectful, have the minister tap in, and then you and I can weigh in a little bit more, because I want to talk about that no shoestrings on the shoes. But thus far, brother minister, what say ye?
From what I know about Kanye having this, he has a very schizophrenic relationship with the fashion industry. He hates it, but yet he is obsessed with getting into it. I call it chasing Mr. Whitendale. And for those of you who grew up with the Jeffersons, you know who I'm talking about. It's that invisible white man that George Jefferson is always trying to get next to. And I have a feeling that Kanye, as much as he says he despises the industry, he breaks his neck trying to get close to it or to rub elbows with it.
I can't agree more.
Interesting. Is that kind of like Stockholm syndrome?
In a sense, you can say that. I remember there was one, if you watch Sway in the Morning, Kanye was doing an interview with Sway, and the way he was talking, I said, you know, why are you a glutton for punishment? If you know what the game is, you know, it's almost like a virgin trying to break into a brothel. Okay. Not understanding if you stay in that brothel long enough, somebody's going to test drive your drawers.
Right.
Okay. So I look at Kanye as like, look, man.
Someone's going to test drive your drawers.
Yeah.
You play P, you get F'd. Okay.
You know, so the thing that I would ask Kanye is this, okay. What do you really want? Do you want liberation in your own situation or better treatment on the plantation? And there's no middle ground in that. So it's kind of like Kanye, you don't know where he is from one day to the next. First, he's with Trump. Then he goes to Houston with Joel Osteen. Now you rolling with Candace Owens. So you're just all over the place.
What do you think he's diversifying his target market? I mean, his not necessarily target market, but diversifying his market. You know, because every step he's taken, he's increased his fan base into different demographics. You know,
I think he's a harlot for attention. Okay. And the reason I say that is because there are those who look for popularity and high profile, and those who have real power. Okay. Because those who have real power are the ones that you rarely see, hear, or discuss, who are the real shot callers, the real policymakers, and the real check writers.
Well, he can write a hell of a check. But to your point,
is it? Yeah.
Is he making his own policy changes?
Is it his own money?
Okay.
That's the question.
This goes back to something that Crumb and I were talking before the show started. And we were discussing his position as an influencer, where Kanye and Candace have both become really great influencers. You know, when I looked at Candace's YouTube channel, she had like 975,000 subscribers. You know, so the term, as Crumb taught me, is an influencer. But be honest with you, I see them as great marketers. So I see influencers and marketers as really being synonymous in many ways. With that being said, I don't necessarily think that neither Candace nor Kanye are pushing the culture in the area where they have developed notoriety. You know, when it comes to fashion, Kanye pushes the culture. He got people wearing Yeezys. He had Fat Joe wearing some stuff that looked whack to me. All right. In terms of music, he's done some great things musically. In terms of but those, you know what? I see people wearing those shoes.
Well, and, you know,
go back. Go ahead.
I wanted to go back to when you were trying to make a joke of Kanye making baby clothes. This is what no hardware looks like. So when you talked about the shoes with no shoelaces and stuff, baby, okay, I'm not saying that's not funny. Maybe it is funny. Maybe we can laugh at it. However, this is why Kanye is the richest. You know, this is why he's a part of the $1 billion boys club. This is why. And this proves that Kanye is an influencer, and Kanye has shifted the culture. This This isn't even up for debate. This is from sproutsocial.com. It says, question, what is an influencer? Answer, an influencer is someone in your niche or industry with sway, no pun intended for the sway, and
you don't have the answer, Sway.
You don't have all the answers, Sway. You ain't got the answer. You ain't doing the education. And influence somebody in your niche or industry with sway over your target audience. He's an influencer, and he's shifting the culture. At one point in time,
go back to your description of. What does it say about shifting culture?
Now,
it talks about being their pre-existing presence in a niche, rather. It really describes a hell of a marketer.
Hold on.
The description you just had, while it was great on, giving a description of an influencer, it really kind of described a great marketer. And that's why I'm saying that the term, and this is just my humble opinion. I'm not a master student. I'm not Crumb. Let me put it this way. I'm not Crumb, so I might be wrong. But I think, okay, people at the very top of their organizational hierarchy, they are the founders, the owners, the makers, the owners, the cream of the planet Earth. Okay, I went back to my God body teachings. I don't think they're necessarily changing cultures. They're marketing product.
Fair enough. Now, just under my only thing is that according to Urban Dictionary, well, it's not what Crumb says. What are the kids saying? Well, the kids are saying there's an idea out there, because the culture, the kids are buying into it. You and I aren't buying into the new culture. We're not saying whatever the new taglines and slang is. The kids that are doing that. And the kids are saying a culture creator is someone who improves the quality of life in a society. Said another way. Discussion? No, just saying that Kanye is a culture creator in American society. He's, making the baby clothes to where it's easier now to put on your shoes.
Yeah, so I'm cool with that. Culture creator, that really defines. I think that's great. But when we look at influencer, and I was just saying that the term influencer really describes a hell of a marketer, because the influencer doesn't necessarily change culture. Now, what you just showed was a culture creator, and a culture creator creates new trends, creates new ways of looking at things, creates a new way of experiencing things. Oh, when you say Kanye culture creator, I love it. I think that's a very descriptive statement for Kanye. I think it's actually great for Kanye. I don't think it fits Candace. And I'm not hating on Candace. I'm a Candace fan. I love the way that sister looks. And I like the way her brain thinks. I don't disagree with most of what she says. I would love to sit down and have coffee with her, because we would go back and forth and really some great debates. But I think Candace does a good job of detailing what the supremacist society believes, thinks, and values. And I think she's great in that response, because we may not like Candace. I don't know if y'all do a lot or not. Y'all may not like Candace, but she helps us understand the ops. She helps us understand the opposition.
I just want to say real quick, now that I've kind of, had my differences with Seiko, I want to have my differences with the minister, respectively, of course, because I believe it's not that Kanye's a glutton, or he's clout chasing, or he's schizophrenic, or he's trying to, I believe Kanye has always led the culture. He's always been the influence who had the balls enough. I remember he said in a rap, something eulogy, or maybe I don't know, something. He said, "I'm in the room talking like it's just you and me." Kanye keep it a million, and we don't see that, because when the camera, even now with all of us, when the camera goes off, we kind of relax. I'll say that respectively. But people act different when the camera's on. And in Hollywood, they do that. So now you got fresh blood who's like, listen, I'm, no holds bars. I'm going to be as candid as possible. And that's been a part of, remember when he came into Rockefeller? When he came into Rockefeller Records, Beanie Siegel was big. Gangster, I'm gonna kill 100 people in a song. And this guy's coming out wearing bedazzled backpacks. Remember Kanye, Louis Vuitton, Don, he's wearing pink. Like, yo, that doesn't fit with Rockefeller. That doesn't fit with anybody within the land. Kanye shifted the culture. The reason you got the Wiz Khalifas and all of them, the only reason we accept that cool nerd thing is because Kanye ushered that generation of what's that Will Smith's son. That's Jaden. Only cool. Jaden Smith. That's only cool because of Kanye. That whole thing. Remember back in the day, it was really guns and shooting people up and really hardcore.
True indeed.
But see, when I hear backpacker, I'm not thinking Kanye. Okay. I'm thinking Dilated Peoples. I'm thinking Jurassic 5. That vibe.
J5.
Okay. So I don't, and to keep it 100, Kanye has never resonated with me the same as Jay-Z has never resonated with me. Okay. So I may have a different take on this. When you talk about influencers, okay, what that tells me is that you have to persuade something that already exists. So you have to persuade a power source. Okay. You're not setting trends. You're not blazing trails, which is what we used to do back in the day. We were the ones who were the innovators, set the trends, and blazed the trails for the rest of the planet to follow. That's what hip hop did. Now it seems like we're playing this, for lack of a better term, follow the leader. Where is this innovation? Like you show me this stuff that Kanye's doing, and I'm thinking like, okay, is this really trend setting? Is this a flavor of the month thing? Because and I'm probably on some Amos Wilson shit right now. Okay.
I just want to salute you. I want to salute you for dropping the titles of 7 hip hop songs in what you just said. Okay. I peeped that. I peeped game, man. I peeped game. Okay.
So I'm looking at power in a totally different way. I'm not looking at it from a popular culture position. And that's why I'm looking at Kanye like, okay, what is it that you're really trying to do here? Because you're over here, you're over there. But what are you really doing and what are you really about? And why do you keep going into a system never designed for you? But if you got all of these resources, when do you go and do for self?
I think he's done for self.
But what I'm saying is do for self in terms of not having to deal with the existing fashion construct and apparatus. If you're that big and bad.
All right, Crumb, this is your platform, Crumb, man. Go ahead and tap in when you want to, bro.
You and I really dominated the conversation in the first 15 minutes. We're only 30 minutes in. Dominated the conversation in the first 20 minutes. So, the minister really didn't have a lot of chance to speak. So we have to, he's here for a reason. We want him to add value. And I think that discourse is very, good for conversation. We want to see left, right, and center, not just an echo chamber where everybody co-signs what I say. But yeah, I digress. I want to say that When Kanye is ambitious, he's all over the place. But when what's the Tesla boy name? Elon Musk.
Mm-hmm.
When Elon Musk is all over the place, it's ambition. He's working 100 hours a week. Successful people have their hands in many jars, and maybe he is all over the place and I'm just making an excuse for him. I don't know. However, dare I say, he is what the standard should be: ambition, drive, multifaceted goals. And this is kind of on a smaller scale for people like you and I. You have to have 6 streams of income. They say you should have like 6 or 7 streams of income to be a millionaire. You have to, be of utility in multiple ways and do multiple things to get to that next level. Maybe that's just an interpretation, but I'm seeing it in a different way. And, I wanted to also address the elephant in the room. Brother Seiko, what say ye?
I think that what you just stated was really intriguing, but what's capturing me is this picture of Kanye West for president 2024. So then if this is what he's moving towards, wearing a shirt that says White Lives Matter really could be a great platform to launch a campaign. And if Kanye isn't anything, he's strategic. He might be all over the place, but he has a reason. He can probably tell you exactly why he does everything. I know that Candace Owens has come out and given a statement as to why she would wear a shirt that says White Lives Matter.
You said she did give a statement?
She did. I haven't heard that Kanye has. So I'm really interested in the strategery behind this. Now, to be honest with you, White Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter, I don't rock with either one of them. So I'm not going to say that what they've done is bad, what they've done is good. I'm simply saying there's a strategy behind this, and it has Twitter, it has us talking about it, other big people are talking about it, and from an empowerment position, I don't think that this matters. I don't think that wearing a White Lives Matter shirt matters because our community, whatever term you want to go with, pick a term, use them all. It doesn't matter with me.
Use them all.
Yeah. When it comes down to our empowerment, we can't allow ourselves to get distracted by a White Lives Matter shirt. Because it comes down to it, it's a shirt. And look, there's a Black Lives Matter organization. There is no White Lives Matter organization. There wasn't White Lives Matter people in DC on January 6th. But there's been a lot of groups that will wear Black Lives Matter shirts at some of the uprisings and some of the other social movements that have been trying to improve our fair country. So White Lives Matter is really just kind of like a troll to an organization.
Right.
So people use the term White Lives Matter, and the KKK used it. Really, maybe they coined it. I don't know if they did or not. In 2000, I don't know if they did or not. But it's normally said when somebody doesn't have a good argument for the movement for improving so-called Black lives. So when people wear the Black Lives Matter shirt because they're in support of a movement that's going to help Black lives, others will say, well, White Lives Matter too. And it really has there's no organization. There might be a couple of marches, but it's not moving policy. It hasn't moved policy like groups that have gotten behind. And once again, I don't support either one of them.
Right. So you know what I think when I see this whole White Lives Matter, to me, it's a code word for another phrase: fear of a black planet.
Teach.
Because why is it that now you've got all of this, white lives matter, white nationalism, this, that, and the third? It's what Dr. Francis Cress Welsing talks about is white genetic survival. You've got a group that's already in a negative birth rate.
Mm-hmm.
So they're basically on a death march. And when you are in a desperate position, you become more vicious, using any and all means to maintain whatever power you have. And now you're grabbing melanated deputies to continue pushing a narrative that we all know is false. So what you're really saying with this White Lives Matter is fear of a black planet. And when I say black, I'm talking black, brown, red, yellow.
All right. When I say black, I mean us.
Well, but I'm just kind of, I'm just saying from a melanated position, I'm kind of using what Dr. Welsing used in the ISIS papers. Okay.
I get you. I was really kind of being joking. I like what Crumb used to say: melanated, carbonated, black, Moorish. You used to have this whole thing you used to say, Crumb, and I was like, Crumb is genius. Crumb is genius. Hey, there was one of the commenters, one of the master students. It may have been a code keeper. I don't think it was a code keeper because I didn't recognize the name. Who mentioned, the problems with BLM, and I totally rock with that. There are some problems, and I've mentioned numerous times in this conversation that I don't rock with BLM because of the problems that they have. However, I want to also state that when we look at, if I go to McDonald's, and I don't go to McDonald's normally, I like their shakes. All right. Also, I'm still fat, man. You see this? McDonald's shakes, man. All right, that's my poison. But my point is, if I go to McDonald's and I get really bad treatment, I'd be like, man, McDonald's is horrible. But when I say that, I'm not necessarily talking about all the McDonald's franchises and locations throughout the entirety of the world. The problems that have happened with BLM might be systemic throughout their organization. But anytime somebody wears a BLM shirt doesn't mean they're representing that organization. Also, anytime somebody wears a White Lives Matter shirt doesn't necessarily mean that they're representing or they work for evil supremacy. And so I think we need to be cognizant. And even though Candace, she rocks really hard for the Republicans and the conservatives, and she ignores the effery that they do, but she does not ignore the effery that the Democrats do. And Kanye can be all over the place. This doesn't necessarily mean that they are truly representing what White Lives Matter foundationally represents. And I think we need to be aware of that as we dissect this. You know what I'm saying, Zumbi? I'm not saying that we know what White Lives Matter means to evil supremacy, white supremacy, whatever term you want to use.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think that they are pushing that narrative. I think they're trying to do something else.
In Candace's case, and I don't know if you guys have heard what she said upon the death of Queen Elizabeth about how British imperialism was ultimately a good thing for Africa. Okay. So to hear a Negro say that white imperialism was a good thing for Africa, I have to look at you sideways. And then I also have to ask myself, what think tank is bankrolling you? Because a lot of these neoconservatives are coming out of conservative think tanks and are being bankrolled heavily.
I wanted to chime in as well. And of course, as you can see, we've all picked our sides. We've all drawn our line in the sands, and we're standing there and I love it. So I want to continue to go to bat for Kanye.
Hey, I love Kanye's music. I ain't buying his shoes. So
but so let's say they were just on a higher vibration, you know, and the family just is not ready for the vibration they on. Let's say that for some strange reason they say that we not black and they not white. It's a possibility. It's within the realm. Like, is Kanye a genius or he is an insane and idiot? I don't know. Which, because he hasn't taken his official position. But what if he comes out and says something like, "Hey guys, white means pure, pure means God, God means ruler of the earth. You know, we are the whites and they are the blacks. They are the Niggers. Brothers, I wanted to ask, have you ever heard of a troglodyte Niger?
Yes.
Yes.
There was a scene, and I'm probably gonna get in trouble, but I'm gonna play it anyway. Troglodyte scene. It was a famous actor. It was like Sylvester Stallone. Here it is. It's only 20 seconds. And I'm going to get in trouble if I play it. Let me see. Can I maybe pull it up on? Oh man, I played it. I'm just going to turn the audio over here. Give me just a second.
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go. Audio full strength.
I'm a troglodyte. I'm a troglodyte. You know what that is? It's Greek for a man that dwells in a cave. See, I'm a caveman. I live in a tiny apartment.
He said he a troglodyte. He said he's a troglodyte. If you go look up, I don't own the rights to that. It was for educational purposes only, fair use. I don't know what I got to say to not get in trouble for that. But anyway,
YouTube is all over you, bro.
Yeah. We're gonna get an email at the very least. But if you look up troglodyte Niger, you're gonna see a monkey. These monkeys live in the Caucasus Mountains.
Okay.
And these are your so-called Nigger. Here it is, a troglodyte. This is the Negro. That's the Negro. That's the black man. He's a troglodyte. So now, I don't know. Am I reaching? There's probably like a 99.99999% chance that my interpretation of that's why he's doing it is a reach. And I'm fine with that. But I'm going to say maybe he's saying that we are the white people and or not white in terms of race, but status. I don't know.
Are we doing more science now?
I don't know. Yes,
no, I mean that in our more science studies, we talked about how we are really the whites, and you know, I've heard that, and I've seen that, and I've read that in dealing with some of the Moorish family, and I've always thought it was intriguing. I really don't take on the idea that if I say I'm black, that I'm thinking I'm a crayon color. I've never been that stupid, but I understand in waking some of us up, sometimes we have to use extremes to get people to look at things differently. So I've always saluted that, loved that. And I'm not talking down on our Moorish family. The prophet is the prophet. I love the prophet. I don't see Kanye necessarily doing what you just described. I do think it was strategic, but I'm open to more information. I'm definitely open to more information. I love these comments though. Yo, I love these who's that? GB Magic Blair says Troglodyte was in Sinbad in the 70s. He had a long horn growing out his head too. Now, that's interesting. Now, Troglodyte was another term for a period of development, and they referred to the cavemen in the caves of Europe, what you might call the Caucasus Mountains, where the Caucasus Asians originated from, or the Caucasus Asians migrated and were grafted. If we go with, what the other prophet, Prophet Elijah taught us. I think that's interesting, and I'm just not sure if Kanye is in that space, but I could be wrong. So you're really presenting an intriguing point there, good brother. You're really presenting an intriguing point there. I still think it was a strategic move. I think that we're going to find out what he was truly doing in 2 years. That's my thought. Now, Candace Owens, she rocks Team White, and her husband is, and by the way, he's a lucky man. I really think Candace is gorgeous. I've always thought she was gorgeous. I know I get a lot of heat for that. I get a lot of pushback for that. One of the people earlier in the comments was saying, so now we need Candace. No, I'm not saying we need Candace to interpret the evil supremacist ideology. I just think she does a good job of presenting it. So I just kind of got all over the place, brother. You really got me thinking, Karam. You really got me thinking.
Well, no, I think, you've spoken on it several times, and I'm going to address the elephant in the room finally, which is Candace Owens. I think, for the first time in almost an hour, you and I are going to come into alignment. I think Candace Owens is beautiful. I think Candace Owens is a genius, and I love to throw that word around freely, but it has no less significance. So now, I forgot. I'm just gonna be 1 million with you, brother. I forgot she was married. I thought she was with Kanye because they that's personal space. I don't know. I didn't know she was married.
I saw some pictures with her and Kanye, and people were saying, are they dating? I thought that's intriguing. I think that would be a nice power move for him. Because, a Kim, whatever you want to call it, she's Armenian. I've always looked at Armenians as light-skinned sisters. Now, I know that I might be taking it to the extreme. He's always been around some really attractive women. He's always been around attractive women.
Whoa. You said Armenian?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's very Caucasus. That's very from the Caucasus Mountains, Armenia.
They got some Moorish blood in them, bro.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Hannibal and team crossed the Alps, man, and they hit them up, man. They hit, Blanco's in the living room getting it on, and we ain't living till 7-11 AD. Till 7-11
You so funny.
So I'm simply saying that Kanye's always been seen around attractive women, but she is married. Now she's not FBA. She's not Foundational Black American. She's not ADOS. American Descendants of Slaves. So she's always been not necessarily regurgitating, but saying the lines of immigrants. She's always repeated the lines of immigrants. And so I can see her wearing a White Lives Matter shirt because as an immigrant, they're always looking, who got the power? They got the power. I'm following them. And isn't that what the front of the shirt says?
Yeah, we follow by example or something like that.
Yeah.
because
it has John. It has the seat of white superiority was in the Catholic Church.
Right.
I might be way off. She just had a baby.
Okay, Candace Owens. Well, and see, you know, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't really keep up with a lot of that type of stuff, but I have been watching shorts of Candace Owens. So you can. No, I haven't even. I've never watched the whole anything with her. But those little shorts, I be catching moments. You know, she be tapped in from what I've seen in the shorts.
She looks good in shorts.
You know what? But I mean, you know, I like the way she thinks. I like her hard line. You know, she's what Kamala wants to be. She is what Kamala wants to be. She is what what's that clown black girl name in out here in Atlanta who are running for governor?
Oh, you talking about Stacey Abrams?
She's what Stacey Abrams wants to be. Her fat tail. She need.
Come on, man. I said, look, you can differ with ideology, but let's not get personal. Okay.
Oh, so you sticking up for Stacey now?
No, what I'm saying is that you can disagree based on ideology, argument, and a position, but let's not get personal. You know, let's not resort to name calling and all this other stuff. I just went through this with what Kareem said about Kyrie Irving, which I thought he was out of bounds, calling him a dumb jock. Okay, so we can disagree without being juvenile in our disagreement.
No, I think she's a poor representation, and she plays the race card, and she's sloppy, and she even was taking a picture where she was covering one eye, playing the Illuminati, want my mind, soul, and my body. Stop it. She's a pander bear.
Ooh, I like that term. A pander bear.
Remember when Hillary Clinton did hot sauce in the bag?
Yeah.
Remember that? That's
right.
A pander bear.
Okay.
I'm not playing with nobody. She's a clown.
All right,
I
so
stand on that.
Okay. All right. That's intriguing. So what's this have to do with White Lives Matter? I think it would be kind of interesting to take it back to the conversation. People are tripping out over Candace and Kanye wearing a shirt that says White Lives Matter. And I don't think this situation matters. I think we should stand on our square. And from whatever denomination you come at towards empowerment, you know, if you come the Christian way, if you come the MST way, if you come the NOI way, if you come the Black empowerment way, if you come, you know, whatever strike you come, if you come the Indigenous way, if you come, you know, the Black Indian way, if you come the Indian way, you know, whatever way you come, if we work toward empowering our situation so we don't have the issues that we face, this doesn't matter. And I think too many of us are looking at this and worrying about what Kanye's doing and not worrying enough about how we can do for self better. But that's me and my empowerment stuff. You know, I take everything from an empowerment standpoint.
I'll say this because I know we're rounding on the hour. When I look at it, and here's just another perspective. Maybe it's like when I saw a meme of the first Black person who took back the word NIGGA. And he was like, "What'd you call me?" He said, "Say it." He said, "Say it." And he said it. He said, "See how I feel." And we've seen how, that was a culture shift of how it meant one thing and we took it and it meant another thing, almost kind of with the, because I know we've been doing the musical references. Not bad meaning bad, but bad meaning good.
Good.
I don't know. Are we going to take White Lives Matter and that's our thing now? I don't know. Is that even what he's doing? I don't know. Does he have the power to do it? I think so. I think he can take it. Yeah.
We'll see.
Brother, can you tell the family who you are and where we can find you at?
Hey, I'm the humble prophet, Mr. Empowerment, Seiko Varner. You can find me on, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Just at Seiko Varner, you'll find me. My YouTube channel is Our Black Empowerment. I'm focused firmly on empowerment. Some of the other stuff I don't even rock with. I don't even worry about. I want to see us be in a position where we can shot call and we can make lives change. I want to see us in a position where our children don't have to ask somebody for a job. I want to see us in a position where our communities are safe. I want to see us in a position where we tell the politicians what they're going to do for us, or they're not going to get our political resource. I want to see us in a position where the police protect us instead of what we have going on now. I want to see us in a position where we rise to the occasion and do what we're supposed to do. I'm Mr. Empowerment, Seiko Varner. I'm proud and blessed and honored to be back on Crumb's platform for this conversation. Peace to all the master students. Prosperity to all the crowd. Prosperity to all the code keepers. And I love y'all. Peace.
Thank you so much. Good brother minister. Can you tell the family who you are? Where we can find you at?
I am Brother Minister Zumbi, author, business thought leader, ultimately servant of African people, a proud graduate of Brother Steve Copley's Freedom Fighters University. I am the author of The Gospel of Afro-Nomics Theology, which is what I call a 21st century blueprint for Black economic power. Like Brother Sekou, I am involved in the empowerment of African people, specifically within the areas of what I call the science of beef, beef standing for business, economics, entrepreneurship, and finance. My objective is the total economic liberation of the African world community. In order for us to do what it is we need to do, we need the resources that we do have, as well as the resources that have been taken away from us. So I am not one for reparations per se, but for liberation. And reparations should only be a part of the process and not an end result in itself.
Powerful, family. Super powerful. Yes, so with that said, Kanye, White Lives Matter? Question mark. That's a question, family, not a statement.